Questo moderno fisherman sportivo è il DC7, prodotto dal cantiere italiano.
This modern sport fisherman is the DC7 produced by the Italian yard DELLAPASQUA. It is a builder who helped to rewrite the history of boating and now presents this new boat. We decided to test it for a very precise reason.
La maggior parte delle imbarcazioni di questo tipo viene costruita.
Most boats of this style are built in the United States, but this is produced here.
È lunga 7,75 metri.
It is 7.75 meters long, and the reason that we decided to have a look at it and try it is its hull.
La prima volta che ho visto navigare questo scafo era il 1900.
The first time I saw this hull sailing was in 1998 when I was participating in the Venice Monte Carlo, the longest powerboat race in the world.
Tra I concorrenti c'era Mirko DELLAPASQUA sul suo.
Among the competitors was Mirko DELLAPASQUA on his DC7 Elite, the smallest boat in the race, and I was impressed to see it run for 1,700 miles in every sea condition, always very fast and always in perfect condition.
State pensando che questo scafo di 20 anni fa sia vecchio? Alla fine degli anni 50.
Are you thinking that this 20-year-old hull is old? At the end of the 1950s, Ray Hunt and Renato Sonilevi designed the first deep V hulls with longitudinal support skis, and those shapes are still the basis of all the planing boat designs today.
Lo scafo di una barca non è come il telaio o le sospensioni.
The hull of a boat is not like the frame or the suspensions or the geometries of the front axle of a car. In boating, the materials, the methods of design and construction have changed, but not the shape of the weight, and an efficient hull 20 years ago is still great today.
No.
No, before trying it, let's take a look at the deck. The width is equal to 250 centimetres, and the weight of this model in sailing condition is 2,600 kilograms. The console is perfectly central. No difference between one side and the other. The bow area can be used in different ways. Without anything on the deck, all the space is available for fishing, for equipment and for people. In the pleasure version, the sofas and the dining table are also transformed into sundecks. The gunwale is padded for the entire length on the inside. Few frills, but all that is needed, such as rod holders. The height in the cabin is 185 centimetres. It can be set up with 1 or 2 bunks and also with the toilet. Further transformation involves the extension of the cabin towards the bow.
È una barca bella robusta. La costruiscono alternando.
It is a beautiful, sturdy boat. They built it by alternating layers of resin and fibre. Even the superstructure looks solid. See how the T-top is supported with these big steel tubes. Even the rod holders are made of steel. Behind the helm, a piece of furniture that can also be transformed into a kitchen. This technical area displays all of the commands and controls for the pumps, even those of the live fish tanks. There are 2 of them, and you can choose which ones to use. They're quite large, but you can also decide to completely change the setup of this area. For example, here I would put masks and fins. Here a nice fridge in the cockpit. All the volumes under the deck have been used to make peaks and tanks. A practical mechanism helps to utilise or hide the sofa.
Il posto di guida mi pare piuttosto comodo. Posso stendere le gambe.
The pilot seat seems rather comfortable. I can stretch my legs. I can even sit and put my feet on the footrest.
Ma a me piace più vivere la barca sentendola col bacino.
But I like to experience a boat by feeling it with my hips, my legs. Well, there is no rough sea, but amortization on the lower limbs is always an ideal situation for any boat and pilot.
Vi ho raccontato una parte della storia di questo scafo. Ma non è detto.
I told you a part of the history of this hull, but it is not said that a hull that is ideal for one boat is also the best choice for others. Compared to the racing one used by DELLAPASQUA, this has another deck, a completely different superstructure, and that's why it should be tried.
A poppa un motore Suzuki da 250.
A Suzuki 250 horsepower engine at the stern, but you can also choose other powers and even a double motorization. The yard performs an infinite number of customizations and certainly will not make any problems to change the bracket. Let's take a look at the wake.
È già quella di uno scafo implanata.
It's already that of a hull that is planing. We are at a speed of 11 knots and a fuel consumption of around 20 litres per hour.
Il mare oggi è troppo calmo. Cercheremo la
The sea today is too calm. We will look for the wake of another boat to test the hull. In the meantime, we take some navigation data.
Alla velocità di 16 nodi occorre.
At the speed of 16 knots, 1.4 litres is required for each mile of navigation. Let's try to increase the gas a little.
Mi sento ben riparato.
I feel well sheltered from this windshield, which also has lateral protection, very effective to divert the airflow.
Il motore non fa sentire molto il suo rumore.
The engine does not make much noise. You hear instead the noise of the wake that is shot away from the 4 longitudinal skids that run the bottom of the hull.
Portando i motori a 4.000 giri.
Bringing the engines to 4,000 RPM, we have reached a speed of 24 knots and consumption per mile has decreased 1.2 litres.
Provo a dare un po' di trim per capire.
I try to give a little trim to see if we can still see some benefits from this hull, changing its ascent a little.
No, direi di no. A questa
No,
velocità.
I would say no. At this speed, the trim should be kept low. And at 30 knots?
Al crescere della velocità cambia leggermente.
As the speed increases slightly, the angle of incidence changes. The bow is lowered a bit, and so we raise it with the trim.
Eccoci, 4.800 giri.
Here we are, 4,800 RPM, 30 knots, 1.3 litres per mile. You feel that it is a sporty boat and fast, because even when it is going strong, consumption does not become disproportionate.
Impegniamola un po' in qualche virata. La V è molto profonda e il D-drive.
Let's try some turns. The bow is very deep. The dead rise aft is 20 degrees, and that's why the angle of heeling is high. But this condition is also what allows us to hold the route and to face the waves in the ideal way.
Già, ma come deve essere la carena di una barca? Quale tenuta deve avere?
So how should the hull of the boat be? Which qualities should it have? Today the sea is extremely calm, and then we use the wake of a boat to try out this sport fisherman, DC7 of DELLAPASQUA.
Attenzione, è un test.
Remember, this is a test. It is not a maneuver to imitate. In fact, it must always be avoided.
Prendiamo l'onda della
We take the wave of the wake in its highest part.
È morbido.
It's very soft. Did you hear how it cut through?
Adesso
Now let's do it again with a little more gas. Hold on.
Si è sentito uno sportello dietro.
You heard a slam behind us, but did the hull not change course?
Ancora una volta, questa volta.
One more time, this time with the bow.
Gli spruzzi vengono
The spray is diverted to the point that everything here on the deck is dry.
un po' più
A
in
little bit
diagonale.
more diagonally.
Wow! Adesso Adesso proviamo
Now let's try the side of the bow instead of straight on. It is clear that the boat will swerve a lot more.
Ecco,
Here we are.
No.
No, I try not to touch the rudder.
Oh,
Incredible.
Che
That hull.
Non
I would never stop. I'm having fun.
E adesso proviamo una situazione molto pericolosa.
And now let's try a very dangerous situation. Let's simulate a big wave at the transverse, using all the power of the wake of this other boat. Look how it banks. Look at the lateral inclination. Look how it holds the root though.
Riuscirò a uscire da questa scia?
Will I be able to get out of this wake? Oh yes, just give a bit more gas and voila, you're done. We just have to try it at its maximum.
La struttura della barca e la sovrastruttura sono piuttosto pesanti perché molto
The
solide.
structure of the boat and the superstructure are quite heavy because they are very solid, so we can expect an exaggerated performance. But in any case, with the engine at 6,000 RPM, we touch the 38 knots of speed.
Il consumo?
Consumption? 2 litres per mile, so you have all the data in full.
Abbiamo provato il DC7.
We tried the DC7, a sports fisherman built by DELLAPASQUA.
Il cantiere lo produce artigianalmente e in questo modo da
A yard produces it by hand, and this way it gives way to endless customizations. This boat, for example, could also be transformed into a workboat. What matters is the base on which it's built, the hull. For furnishings, it's up to you.